G'day folks, here's my response video to Melanie Loves Death Metal's challenge of 2 favourite tapes, CDs, records and memorabilia in your collection. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing a response video of Melanie Loves Death Metal, excellent channel. I highly encourage you to check her channel out if you don't already know. She's got 3 times as subscribers as I do, so I'm sure you're probably all subscribed, but if not, get there. Great stuff. She did a video the other day about favourite items in your collection, not necessarily your all-time favourite, you know, tapes or CDs or whatever, but things that you're very happy to have in your collection and you can't see yourself parting with, selling them or giving them away or whatever. So that's a bit of a problem for me because I'm quite the hoarder. I have too much stuff, you could say. So I don't usually get rid of anything, but I thought, this sounds like a fun challenge. So, let's get into it. First up, I'm going to do is 2 tapes in my collection that mean a hell of a lot to me. And we'll start with the big guns. Let's just put it that way. Now this is a display thing that I have on my wall generally. All Australian demos, killer bloody ones, of course. And what we're focusing on is the middle one, the disembowelment one. So I couldn't be bothered holding this up the whole video, so you know what it looks like. It's got a big bloody D on it. So yeah, disembowelment, deep sensory procession into your oral fate, I think is the lengthy title. It's their second demo, and yeah, absolute masterpiece. If you've seen any of my Aussie, top 20 Aussie demo album and EP lists, disembowelment did pretty well, let's just put it that way. So that tape's pretty special to me because I bought it on eBay, nothing super exciting, although I was chasing it for a very long time. I still remember the first time I heard it, which I probably told in my Aussie Demos video. Was at a gig with Acheron, which is what a Brammelin used to be called, and Necrotomy, a killer old Melbourne death metal band, and I'm an Angel, and I was at the Civic Youth Cafe in Canberra. Killer bloody gig. And they had merch on sale. I ended up buying a Acheron t-shirt, and they had disembowelment tapes that I had no idea of, didn't even register. And then on the drive on the way home, someone put it on in the car, and it was like, oh, damn, I should have bought that. Now, I went to a gig the next night with the same band, so maybe disembowelment, and which included one of the members of disembowelment playing in Napalm Death cover band, so they probably had it for sale there, and I stupidly didn't buy it then either, but maybe it's because I was a POV teenager. But so I didn't get it for years. I had a dub of it, no worries, so I was very familiar with it, you could say, but didn't own an official version of it for donkey's years, so it was one of my favourite searches on eBay. This is probably pre-Discogs, I'd say. And eventually showed up. I paid, I don't think it was that much. It was like 60 or 70 bucks, which is, a bit for a tape that was $5 in the first place. But for something that bloody good, Ultimate, it's one of the best releases of any Australian band for sure. Ultimate Funeral Doom or Death Doom, whatever the hell they play. It's, killer stuff. And so, snaffled it. And then when it arrived, came with a little note from Jason Kells, the guitarist of Disembowelment, who was on that, one of the guitarists who was on that demo, obviously. And he was just selling it and seemed pleased that it was going to someone that it was keen as. So, that's my number one. So that one ain't going anywhere. That's, I'm never going to sell that. I could be buried with it, I suppose. But if I wanted to be buried with good stuff, then, I'd need a second coffin, I think. So, anyway, that's my first tape thingy, and let's just show it again. Why not? Seeing I got it off the bloody wall, I'll show you where on the wall it is. It usually sits like right there behind one of my monitors. So pride of place, and thanks to Mark for that killer frame as well, which weighs a friggin' ton but does a good job. So my second tape, and this is not a metal one. This is Beastie Boys, Paul's Boutique. An Indonesian bootleg, no less. So in high school, one of my electives was Indonesian, like the language. So learned that for 3 or 4 years or whatever it was, and I thought I got reasonable. I was all right for tourism, but I remember getting home and turning on Indonesian news, which happened to be on one of our channels, and couldn't understand a bloody word. It was so fast. So, but yeah, at any rate, so at the end of year 10, so when I think I just turned 16, we went to Indonesia as a school trip for, I think it was 3 weeks, which was many shenanigans ensued. And yeah, I picked up, along with the Mortal Sin tape of like Face of Despair, their second album, like Aussie thrash legends. For some reason that was there. I think I might have got a Testament tape as well. I think we practice what you preach, possibly. But you can tell it's got not for sale outside Indonesia in Bahasa on it. But it's still like it's a proper version. It's not super bootleggy, I gotta say. It comes with this full spread of all the lyrics, which not exactly easy to read on tape size. So thankfully you can understand them. So I'm a huge Beastie Boys fan, if you hadn't worked that out. And in the intervening years, I've bought it on CD, which is probably the more listened to thing, and record, which I've probably listened to like twice. But at any rate, the CDs had a damn good use, but this one's special because, yeah, it was the first time I heard it. I mean, I knew the Beastie Boys, this is back in 1989 when it came out. So I knew the Beastie Boys from License to Ill, the first album, which is a bit different, you could say. Pretty bloody simples and very, bratty, and yeah, they were wankers back then. And whereas this is masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. My favourite hip-hop album by a mile. So layered, so dense, and just the music itself, let alone their singing as well. So killer bloody stuff. I still remember listening to it in Bandung, which was a town. We thought it was probably million people city or something, but I think it was on Java, the main island, and yeah, we were booked into a hotel there, and my mate Scott and I remember we both had our crappy old Walkmans with us, and we both pressed play at the same time so we could listen to it in sort of unison. We didn't have like a nice speaker or anything like that. It was just shitty headphones that somehow survived a trip to Indonesia. And yeah, we watched it from our room, which foolishly the teachers gave 5 of the boys their own big room, which was away from all the other rooms. So of course, being 16-year-olds, first chance we got, we went out shopping for booze. So that night we drank $2, if that. I think it was like a couple of thousand rupiah, which is not very much, or wasn't in 1989. Whiskey that we bought off someone that spoke absolutely no English except the word whiskey. And of course beers as well. Like you could always buy beer. And I mean, I was 16, or we were pretty much all 16, and I was big for my age. I had an early growth spurt, whereas my other mates did. No one gave a shit. Yeah, you could buy whiskey, whatever the hell you want. So yeah, it was a debauched night, that one, that's for sure. But yeah, it was. I still remember listening to it and just, Scott and I just looking at each other going, holy crap, this is a bit different than License to Ill. And yeah, masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. So that's the CD. I mean, that's the tapes. Now, CDs, that was a little trickier in some ways. I mean, I've got rare CDs and I've got favourite CDs and so on. I was thinking of picking this one, which is one of my favourites, and plus it's the naughty one where they borrowed the cover art from Book of Krishna or something or other. So I was tempted by that because, I've been looking at the trying to buy it on record because I really wish I had it on 12-inch, but yeah, it ain't cheap. I even saw an Aussie distro had like bootleg versions of it for a reasonable price. I was tempted, but it's not really the same. I mean, I have an original CD as well, so I have a reissue record with a crappy second cover, but so that one doesn't really count. I was going to pick Alchemist Lunasphere because it's one of my all-time favourite albums. Plus, my name is in the thanks list, and I remember when it came out, getting played it by one of the guitarists, Roy. Well, actually, before it came out, when they'd finished it. So that was pretty special, but I've ended up going with my first CD is this one, Napalm Death, Live Corruption. This one actually came in a box set. Came in a box set with 3 other CDs, which I already owned, so it was like The Scum from Enslavement compilation, Harmony Corruption, and Death by Manipulation, compilation. So I already had those. I didn't bother with the box set. I don't actually remember even seeing it for sale, but thankfully one day in, what was it, CD Revolution, the old second-hand store in Canberra, came across this and went, yoink, I'll have that. So this is a live recording of them in 1990, I think. Yeah, 1990 at the Salisbury Arts Centre. There is a video called Live Corruption, which is also on this Napalm Death, the DVD. So I had a dub of it for donkey's years. If you watch my whatever it was called, top live videos thing, it did very well in that, that's for sure. So, but yeah, I've listened to this so many. This is the audio version. It's got a slightly different track list. It's missing a couple of songs for some reason that are on the video, but this has got like the intro and all the in-between bits. I think this is just the straight gig with no real gaps. So yeah, this is early Barney era with Mitch and Jesse on guitar, Mick Harris still in the band. So prime era for that sort of style. I think it's just before Harmony Corruption was released, so it's a batch of songs off that, but mostly older stuff with Barney sounding, massive delay on his vocals and sounding killer. So I've listened to this so many bloody times. They have finally re-released this by itself. I think there's like a LP version that I just haven't bothered really because... and there is a reissue CD that came out pretty recently, I think, on Earache. So highly recommend you track that one down. But this one, super special. This one ain't going anywhere. And my second CD that I chose is an old Aussie compilation called Sounds of Ordinary Madness. This one has tracks by Christbait, Magnesite, Subversion, Bloodduster, Damage, Bean Flipper, Necrotomy, Warp Spasm, Mole Grinder, Tootie Party, Hate Factory, and Grope. And this is an amazing bloody compilation. Nothing super fancy on here. You get like a picture of some crusty guy, the track list. This does have a few sort of unreleased tracks on it, so which is partly why I treasure it so much. But one of the main bonuses of it is this. It came with this sort of zine almost of, the track listings all right up by Deported. It's got interviews with the bands, including the classic bloody Bloodduster Chainsaw Bitches, I believe, was the title of the... let me just find it, because it's... Oh, yeah, well, there's Christbait interview, which are hilarious as well, because they obviously know each other, and they're just taking the absolute piss out of each other. It's gold. Where's the Bloodduster one? Oh, yeah, Necrotomy. So... There we go. Charming picture. I still regret that I don't have a t-shirt of that. So yeah, cool. Such a cool little thing. There probably weren't that many of them made, I'd hazard a guess. And your chances of finding it with the booklet intact is pretty minimal. But yeah, this has had a huge influence on me as far as the bands on here, because I mean, I had heard Christbait, I had heard Bloodduster and Bean Flipper and probably Damaged, I think, by then. But I think it might have been the first time I heard Magnesite, and also the Necrotomy track on this is Doors of Perception, I think it's called. Wasn't on any of their tapes, so for a long time, this was it for that track, and it's stupidly heavy. So, yeah, the Christbait tracks on here alone, it's worthwhile. Live version of Coin Slot Your Butt Crack, so bloody good. So, this is just I did see most of these bands. Don't think I never saw Warp Spasm or Mole Grinder or Grope or Tootie Party, but pretty sure I saw the rest. Actually, not Magnesite. Oh, sad. But Hate Factory is one of the other interesting bits on here. It was when what's her name? Fear Factory toured the first time in '93 or whenever that was. They did a sort of jam session with a couple of members of Christbait on vocals. So it was just, I think it was Dino on guitar and Raymond on drums and V and Spaz on vocals. Just fart-assing around, and, they did it on stage, but someone recorded it, thankfully. I'm pretty sure there's a Brujeria song in there somewhere, or at least the main riff of it. So it's just kind of cool having that. I wonder if many Fear Factory fans know about that, but So yeah, legendary compilation. If you ever get the chance to see it, I don't like your chances of finding it in the wild, but yeah, you never know. So yeah, that was amazing. Next up, we've got records. So there's plenty that could fall in this category. I mean, there's this ridiculous bloody Mournful Congregation box set that I has my name written in it, and it's like numbered out of 100 or something. So that's ridiculous level of extravagance. I was thinking of going with this Ravenous one, which is like signed by Chris Ryford and, you know, Danny Corrales and Clint Bauer and Killjoy and Danny Lilka, which is pretty friggin' cool, and I wouldn't part with this, but I didn't get them. It came signed. Like, I bought it off eBay. It was already signed by them anyway, so it's not like it's that special. I was standing there while they signed it or anything like that. So what I am going to go with is, first one, Voltara, Realm of Chaos. Now, this is not super special. You can still buy this. It ain't bloody cheap. This is the first version, you know, OG gatefold, ridiculous sort of one. Beautiful back. Now, I've had this on, I bought this on eBay. No, actually not on eBay. I bought it off old message board I used to go to called Metal Shop. Some idiot sold it on there for, I don't know, it wasn't even that much. It was like $50 or something. I was like, what are you doing, mate? I'll have that. So it comes with a full stylish booklet. You know, killer pictures, all Games Workshop sort of stuff in there. Now, I already had this on CD. I've had it on CD, you know, the OG CD since it came out pretty much. Well, maybe not quite that early, but as soon as I got into death metal and heard either World Eater or Through the Eye of Terror on Grindcrusher, I was like, I need that. I got it. So I'd had the CD for a long time. I got this in, what would that have been? Mid-2000s maybe? Probably about then. But I'd been hunting for it for a long time, which is why it's sort of special. Plus, I mean, it's one of my favourite bloody albums, and look at that cover. Beautiful stuff. So I have the CD, which is out in the shed. I also, I'm not even sure why, bought this ridiculous reissue version with the crappy cover, although I do like Old Mate on the back. He looks pretty cool. And, of course, I have the CD of that, which is what I actually have on the shelf, mainly because it's got an extra DVD of them playing. I don't know if it's the same gig as that on that Napalm one. I don't think it is. I think it's the year before. So, you know, Realm era, friggin' killer. But yeah, this one is just something special. One of my favorite albums. No way this is ever leaving my possession. That's for bloody sure. So that's the first one as far as records go, and the second one, I'll just get it out of its plastic because it's a stupid picture bloody disc. Nazul, this is Sydney black metal band. This is their, I think it's just called Live. This is a live recording of them with those killer tracks. Evil. And this is from them. This is when they played Metal for the Brain, which is a festival in Canberra. So 1989, I think this one was. There's no details on here other than the track list, but pretty sure it's called Live 99 or something. So, and it was the first time I saw Nazul. I'd loved him since the demo days, so I was super, super keen. I have a bad feeling I missed like the start of a song or something as well, so I was irritated about. Maybe I had to go to the toilet or something, or probably off smoking bongs or God knows what. So, yeah, amazing gig. Live, they're absolutely killer. And I mean, Metal for the Brain was a biggish festival, well, for Australia at any rate, you know, a couple of thousand people or whatever there. So, huge gig, and they delivered something fierce. So, it's just really nice having a spiffy audio version of it. This came out on Decius Records, which is an old Sydney label that pretty freaking killer. Put out some damn fine stuff, including the first Portal album, and yeah, a heap of good stuff. So yeah, that's my record one. Now for the next one, oh shit, don't be falling. Oh, hold on. I was going to go with, I was going to start with this ticket. This is, you probably can't really see it. It's not in focus. This is Morbid Angel playing Canberra at the ANU bar, or Morbid Angels as is written on it. And the reason why this is kind of cool is because it's signed by Trey Azixthoth with, yuck, suck Arthur Jeff, and this ridiculous squiggle, bloody, I don't know if that's, I cannot make out the word Trey there at all, but yeah, it was signed by him, after the gig he was, or it might have been before, but amazing friggin' gig. Might as well hold the flyer up. Absolutely killer gig, but I thought, nah. So, what I am going to go with, and following on from my one of my favourite records, is this. This is a bolt thrower set list from a gig they played in 2013 in Portland, Oregon, that I went to. I wisely stood next to the sound desk, which is a secret hint for you kiddies. The sound's always going to be best right near the sound guy, because he's the one who does the sound. So, amazing bloody gig. It would have been the third time I'd seen Bolt Thrower. I saw him in Australia in Canberra in 93 or whenever they first toured, which was pretty good. And then I'd seen him at MDF a couple of days before this, which was in a tent, and yeah, not the greatest. I mean, they played killer, but yeah, wasn't the greatest stage, that one. But this one was, yeah, this is a top 5 gig for me, and I mean, I've seen a lot of bloody gigs, and this one was up there. Perfect sound, really killer venue. Was it Ballroom or something or other? I think it used to be owned by like Gus Van Sant, or I don't know. It's just a killer venue. I was hanging out with some Aussie mates, as well as I think it was our old mate Gurge from Lord Gore as well was there, and my mate Ryan, and yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at that set list, friggin' ridiculous. Plus, added bonus, yeah, this was the sound guy set list. It wasn't on stage, but he obviously needed to know what they were playing for, I don't know, whatever effects they were using or something. And yeah, so as soon as it finished, I went, "Hey mate, you want that?" And he's like, "Here you go." So I was super happy, but killer bloody gig. And then I was watching. Oh, I'm a fan of Joe Bench on like Facebook, and she posted a picture of her back in the day filling in set lists, and pretty sure it's the same writing. I'll put a picture of it up, but it looks pretty bloody similar to me. So yeah, Joe Bench. Woo. But yeah, absolutely amazing gig. They played Where Next to Conquer, which is about the only song I like off Fourth Crusade, and yeah, absolutely killer. So good. So it was great that I even went to that gig, let alone the fact I got the set list off it, and it's just, yeah, killer. I saw him, I think it was the next night, maybe in Seattle as well, but I was sick as a dog by then, so did not particularly enjoy that because I was just coughing my guts up. It was terrible. All right, the last thing, I'm going to have to put a bit of footage up because it's actually up there, is something I was planning on saving as a reveal until I did a room tour, but what the hell. Probably was a year or two ago, I suppose. Rock, the singer from Sadistic Execution, he does killer artwork, all the Sad X albums, a shitload of other ones. There's Weirdo and a ton of different bands that he does cover art for. It's, yeah, he's got a certain style, that's for sure. And sure enough, he has a little sort of an online store where he sells his stuff for, decent amount of money because he's an artist, it's fair enough. It's killer stuff. But one time he obviously, I don't know, decided, this stuff's sat around too long, and reasonably heavily discounted a few things. And so I picked up this. I'll put a picture of it up because it's up on the wall and it was bastard to get on there. There's heaps of crap in the way and it's awkward hanging it. So it ain't coming down, not for a while. But yeah, it was, what's the piece? I think it was called Hellfire. Can't remember if it was 1, 2, or 3. Did like 3 sort of variants on it. I got it beautifully framed by, I can't remember their name. It's a number of framers in Canberra. I'll put a picture of their place up. Did an amazing job. Wasn't cheap, but hey, it's properly framed. The frame cost, probably double what the picture cost. But if I'd bought it full price, it probably would have been pretty similar. But so yeah, it's original artwork. It's not a print or anything like that. That is the art, as done by Rock, who is an absolute legend in the Aussie metal scene. I mean, in the worldwide metal scene, he's one of the most Darrow bloody main men of the band. And I did only see Sad Exeter once, which I'm pretty sad about. I really should have seen him back in the day. I did see him at that stupid bloody awards ceremony where they were killer, but Not quite as crazy as the old days, I don't think, but yeah, I'm just really privileged to have that. I don't own any other original artwork by any means, so that was cool to get that. And I mean, it looks bloody nice as well. Like the nice photo that I took that I'll be using there looks a shitload better than the shitty video that I probably put up as well. So as you can see, it's pride of place right next to a batch of my MDF posters. I still am missing MDF from 2007, which was the first one I went. Every other year I've got a nice framed poster of, but 2007 they didn't have fancy posters, I don't think. So I did send them an email once going, can you just send me like the biggest JPEG you've got of that poster, which wasn't fancy, but I just wanted to put it up, but yeah, no response, but oh well. So yeah, it's pride of place up there. I did want to put it up here, but this wall I think is a little dodgy, so and one day maybe I'll strengthen it a bit and get it up there, but I just didn't want it to fall off and break the expensive frame. So that's a batch of 8 things of my from my collection that ain't going anywhere. Let's put it that way. Now, as I said, I'm a hoarder. There's a ton more stuff that ain't going anywhere as well. Although, as I said, I think in one of my shed videos, I'm thinking of loosening up slightly, and I've got a batch of doubles that I think I'll start farming out to decent people. I've got a few things to send on, so. But anyway, thanks to Melanie for a killer idea. It was good fun thinking about it because, yeah, there's a lot of backstory on a lot of items. But anyway, I highly encourage you to check out her channel if you're not already familiar with it. Does some great stuff. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you again soon. Cheers.